During the first part of the IELTS speaking test, many candidates lose points not because their English is weak, but because their answers sound unnatural. Part 1 is not a performance. It's a short, natural conversation. In IELTS speaking part 1, natural beats impressive. And if you handle part 1 well, the rest of the speaking test usually feels easier. Hi, I'm Ethan. For over 20 years, I've prepared thousands of candidates for IELTS, and I know exactly what examiners listen for in speaking. In a previous video, I explained how the speaking test really begins and what examiners notice before the first real questions are asked. In this video, I'll show you how to answer IELTS speaking part 1 questions naturally, what examiners expect at this stage, and how to avoid the biggest mistake candidates make in part 1, sounding memorized instead of spontaneous. Also, I'll give you a few tips that will instantly make your speaking sound more natural. Let's start. Once the examiner has finished the introductory questions, she will signal the start of part 1. You'll usually hear something like, "Now I'd like to ask you about," or "I'm going to ask you a few questions about." Part 1 includes 3 short topics, and only the first one is easy to predict. The first set of questions will focus on something familiar, such as your hometown, where you live, your family, or your work or studies. These questions are designed to help you settle into the test and start speaking comfortably. Because of that, your answers don't need to be long or complicated. 2 or 3 natural sentences are enough for each question. The aim here is to speak clearly and confidently, not to impress the examiner with complex language. Here are some clear, realistic examples of the kind of simple, familiar questions you can expect in IELTS Speaking Part 1. These are the everyday low-pressure questions examiners use to get you talking. About your hometown or where you live. Where are you from? Is your hometown a big or a small place? Has your hometown changed in recent years? About your home. Do you live in a house or an apartment? Who do you live with? What do you like most about your home? About your family? Do you have a big family? Who are you closest to in your family? Do you spend much time with your family? These questions are there to help you warm up and settle into the exam. Nothing more. In IELTS Speaking Part 1, your answers should be as if you were having a short, everyday conversation. They shouldn't be too short, but they also shouldn't sound like a prepared speech. For example, if the examiner asks, "Where are you from?" answering just "Montreal" would be too brief, while giving a long description about history, population, or attractions would be unnecessary. A natural response would be something like, "I'm from Montreal. It's a city in Quebec, Canada." Now consider another answer to a similar question. What is your hometown? My hometown is Montreal. It's a beautiful city located in Quebec in eastern Canada with a population of over 3 million people. This answer is much more complex than saying just Montreal, but that's exactly the problem. The answer sounds formal and written, not spoken. And when examiners hear this kind of language in part 1, it often signals memorization, not real communication. Here's the best structure for part 1. Start small, then add one detail. That's it. First sentence, direct answer. Second sentence, one extra detail. Could be a reason or a simple example. For example, do you work or study? I'm studying right now. I'm studying computer science. Do you like your neighborhood? Yes, I do, especially because it's quiet at night. 2 sentences, natural, no speech, no essay-like answers. One reason memorized answers sound fake is the rhythm. Real speaking is full of small connectors. So here's a simple habit. Try to use one of these in each of your part one answers. Because, so, and especially. Because gives a reason. So gives a result. Especially gives a specific detail. Example, do you enjoy cooking? Sometimes, yeah, especially on weekends, because I have more time. These three words, so, because, and especially, make your English sound spoken, not written. In part one, you should try to speak naturally and a little more briefly, more like a normal conversation or a job interview. More complex language can come later in parts 2 and 3. Here's a small trick that instantly makes you sound natural. In part 1, don't answer quickly. Take a short pause. 1, 2, then speak. That tiny pause does two things. It calms your brain and it makes you sound human. Fast answers often sound prepared. Calm answers sound real. By the way, write in the comments if you want me to explain parts 2 and 3 in another video. All right, folks, you just learned what IELTS Speaking Part 1 is really for, what kind of questions you can expect, and how you should answer those questions. The most important piece of advice I have for you is this. You can find typical Part 1 questions online and prepare yourself for them by learning useful phrases and common sentence patterns. You might even want to write some of your answers so that you help your mind get organized on a number of familiar topics. However, you should never give memorized answers in the exam. Don't forget, in IELTS Speaking Part 1, natural beats impressive every day of the week. Examiners are trained professionals and they can easily tell the difference between a spontaneous answer and a memorized one. People lose valuable points for sounding memorized all the time. Here's a simple rule that you can remember. If your part 1 answer sounds like something you wrote at home, it's probably wrong for the exam. If you're interested in another video, I can explain IELTS Speaking parts 2 and 3 and show you where more complex talk really belongs and how you can achieve that. If you want that, write it in the comments. Also, if you have any other questions about IELTS speaking, write in the comments. I read your comments, they really make me happy, and my future videos will be directed by your comments. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, hit that subscribe button and come back for more IELTS lessons. Good luck with your preparation. Ciao.